I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today, watching My Hero Academia, Season 7, Episode 17. Last episode was everything to me. Absolutely everything. Gentle criminal. Period.
La
Enough.
Brava. Nagant.
Lady Nagant. Yeah,
Not
sure.
even period enough.
It's hard.
Give them all credit.
I love them all, and I do want to give them all credit, but Gentle Criminal is everything. And getting to see him at the prison, keeping those prisoners in, amazing. Fantastic. Can this episode even come close to the heights that last episode reached?
Honestly, I'd kind of, if I were this episode personified, I think I would be really intimidated to come up after last act, you know?
All you have to do is show a small recap of Gentle Criminal, and then you're there. You've done it. Yep.
You think just the little recap alone will do it?
One frame is enough.
Just one frame.
You ready?
Yes.
Sweet. After Kuragiri's appearance.
The amount of people that could have just gotten trampled within the mob itself.
Oh, we get to see Nagant. Oh. It all stems from Midoriya. Yes! He also believes in Midoriya. Oh my god. She's gorgeous. Oh!
Wow.
Oh my god!
Both hands. Oh!
Jesus!
You even see like the tendons.
Oh shit! Where are we going?
Into the water?
Oh.
What if this is an underwater battle now?
One thing that I didn't think about in the discussion of last episode that I noticed while editing was where the fuck is All Might going? We see him leaving. Where the fuck is All Might going? He had a briefcase, and I'm like...
How many other... We get that idea that All For One has a lot of friends everywhere. What if there's a friend we haven't thought of that All Might has?
That's true, but also... I just imagine the face of All Might would cause so much trauma for All For One, because every successor that we've gotten like a hint at seeing, it's been a bloodbath. It's been so easy for All For One for the most part until All Might. All Might is like a quaking reminder that of his failure, you know?
Wait, did they just add Gentle Criminal and Nagant into the opening? I just saw them.
I'm such a fool. I wasn't looking.
I'm so glad they didn't spoil that. We'll go back to it.
Please. Oh.
Still has the heart of a hero. It's not pretending.
Wow. The splitting.
Awareness of the manipulation. I didn't like that.
Oh my god, Shirakumo. Oh, do you know what a successor is, you fool?
My heart won't keep changing. It's like he burst out of his mouth. Oh!
Oh my god.
The only thing that will save me. Glad they have a recording of this.
Jesus, look at Shigaraki. Hopes. With the lowercase h. Things are getting serious. Come on, Gentle. A little longer. Of course it does!
He knows you're here! Is there almost freedom in that? We know that there's a camera though.
Oh my god.
It's like a volcano top. Why does that make me cry? Like, that's silly.
What a place I tried to infiltrate. Yes!
Complete!
Good job, LaBrava.
What's the next thing?
Oh my god.
Live. Oh. Who am I protecting? Everyone's thoughts.
Everything's colliding. Where?
No.
He could be sending them to All for One. Holy shit!
All about trusting in Midoriya.
It's going to be my background for everything.
I should add Gentle Criminal to a smash or pass list. Oh.
If you can get Eraserhead here, that would be everything.
But you need Monma. I can't believe I already started crying so soon. Oh, that look back!
Oh.
Wait! Hawk, this is perfect time for Hawks because Lady Nagant for the first half, really, and Gentle Criminal for the first half of the episode.
Oh shit! What? Kami? Yes! Yes!
What the fuck?
Holy shit!
If that hottie got put on ice, I agree with you!
Oh my god, meatball. Oh my god. Yes!
Oh my god!
Let's go!
Oh my god. The
To
wind
help
isn't something that
Endeavor?
blows by itself.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, avenge my father. Prison guard.
Look at all of them in their uniform. Their uniforms are so freaking cool.
Yeah. Oh my god!
いや、我々が要請する前に彼らが動いてくれていた。オール4-1の肉体が戻っていることは聞いた。個性は本体に触れることで奪う。
Oh no!
これまでのリスクヘッジを放り出してでも止めたいと。そうかそうか。
What the fuck?
He's really gonna look like a demon now.
奴は止まってる。攻撃し続けろ。この後に及んでまだどうにかなると思っている。
Hope
僕に唯一届いた男を書いて
the
なお
one man who could reach me.
勇敢なんじゃない。僕のゴールデンエイジを知らぬからだ。物心がつく頃にオールマイトが台頭し始めた世代。
Creating a barrier with the last earphone jack.
していた世代。いや、知ってるっす。あんたは知らんかったけど、その辺は近現代史でちゃんとやる。
Hell yeah!
俺は親友の轟と
My friend!
その父親エンデバーを見て応援すると決めた。その父親が恐怖に勝ってるだけっす。風の牢に攻撃を乗せて奪って
And start stealing. Oh my god.
皆さん
Not the hat!
トガを巻き上げながら吹かせ続けろ。俺の個性は強風の時ほど強くなるっす。あんたの古い栄光より応援してる方の作る未来が見たいんすよ。俺はワン・フォー・オールは人々の心が紡いできた力の結晶。ワン・フォー・オールだけじゃない。
All of the hopes, everyone. That's what this episode's about.
Using the feathers to propel the sword. They're looking at the future.
You want to see defeat in those eyes.
Just like that fire within All Might, I swear to God. Oh, Girogiri.
But
Shirakumo.
I don't think it's. So that's how it is.
What? Dark Shadow? Oh my god. Remember in the forest at night? Holy shit!
Oh look! Put him in a little shell! But we talk about not being able to steal the quirk from the flames.
I'm so scared that was all for one for a second. Holy shit!
I bet that was a cool
Light
manga
of
panel.
Balder.
I bet that was.
Oh my.
What the fuck? My brain was like, that has to be Kurogiri and Shirakumo.
I know.
You know, because of the timing of present Mike and
There could be an
Erasure.
after credit. Tokoyami is so cool. I've always wanted to see him with the sword ever since we did like the moving into UA dorms and we got to see everybody's rooms. We got to see inside Tokoyami's room and he had the sword that Midoriya pointed out and I've always wanted him to wield a sword.
時は戻り、あの瞬間、二人の男は気づいていた。 事態はまだ最高ではないことに、そして事態はまだ
Or the worst
最
it could
悪
be.
ではないことに。
What?
あくまで希望的対策よ。
Hands touching the
最
ground.
悪だけどまだ最悪
But
じゃな
not
い。
yet the worst!
手でオール・フォー・ワンやダベに変身したり2倍で出されていたら終わってた。
Yeah.
相性というのかしら。変身から2倍で増やした人間にも卑弥呼ちゃんの条件が乗ってしまうようになっているのなら、卑弥呼ちゃんの好きが死柄木たちには当てはまって使えないのかも。気持ち一つで1秒後に条件が覆ってもおか
Due
しく
to
ない。
emotions, that's what we were
そうならない
seeing.
ためにも早く本物を見つけないと。だとしたら今戸賀卑弥呼はなんでトムラ君もトウヤ君も好きなのにチン君やおちゃこちゃんみたいに個性が出せない。
Like, what is the
この
compatibility?
戦い前にも試した。大好きなのに好きになれるはずなのに、なんで
Mm.
私はチン君になれないの。
Okay, that was My Hero Academia Season 7, Episode 17. I don't know where to start. I have no idea.
I do. Nagat and Gentle in the OP.
Oh my god. It's fantastic. I think you're right. Them adding that in after the reveal, it means so much to me. I'm so glad that they didn't spoil it.
Mm-hmm. Like that, there's definitely, I would not like reveals, but there's definitely like tone to the OP of kind of which characters are going to have, like Shoji,
Yeah.
you know, and Spinner. We could have gathered from the OP and the original outro and stuff that there was going to be something significant there. But you gotta keep some things a secret.
Yep. And we
And-
see
Yeah, and you see both of them.
just 2 frames that are barely animated. But
Barely.
it means so much.
They're so quick.
They're so quick, but if they had included it earlier, this would not have been as good to me.
I'm not
These
faking,
last 2
right? Like,
episodes.
I would have noticed if it had been in prior.
I think that we would have noticed.
I feel like, especially if it's Gentle, I feel like
Yeah.
we would have noticed. But sometimes we can get into yapping a little bit.
Yeah.
So we could have been yappers and missed it. But I
Man,
think that this is the first time.
how fucking cool that Chiketsu comes back.
Come on, like, why wouldn't you use, like the other classes? You know, there's some really cool characters, really cool designs, really cool quirks. And, you know, I'm always happy when we finally use another character from another class. But come on, there are other hero schools. And when we got introduced to some of those characters, like Cammy,
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Well,
Inasa,
like,
amazing designs, cool quirks.
yeah, and Kami specifically, because we didn't get to see a lot of Kami. We got to see Toga as Kami,
Mhm.
and that was an incredible plot point when I watched it years ago. But what was just as incredible was seeing her actual quirk
Personality,
within
quirk.
yeah.
Yeah.
the tests with Todoroki.
Mhm.
Right, like, obviously, it's no surprise to anybody that Hawks is looked at as being incredibly attractive. But once Hawks leans into that attractiveness and you see, like, this sparkle and glint, immediately I know who it is, you know?
See, my brain broke in that moment. That I didn't know what the fuck was happening. Because I was like, what happened was they got me in this emotional, like, place where almost like a roller coaster. Like, right before the drop. Like, emotionally, they were taking me up and up and up with, like, oh my god, did Hawks literally just get blasted through? Is he literally dead?
Yeah.
And then they do this transition into this rose petals shoujo anime manga beautiful Hawks illusion, and I'm up here in the air going like, when's the drop gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
You were Tokoyami.
I was Togoyami.
But she's so cool, man.
If that hottie got put on ice, it would be a shame.
I am so glad that Inasa's here too. I don't necessarily expect him to have any interactions with Endeavor because of what Endeavor's currently doing, but
which is like basically in a chasing match.
The thought behind it, though, and what he says and what has inspired him and the choices that he's made, it's so good. Seiji's really interesting too. What's his name? Shishikura. And
yeah, I don't like the fingers.
Meatball?
Yeah.
I love Meatball. He's a really interesting character because when he was first introduced, he was similar, not really similar, but he was like, he had an essence about him that resonated with like a Bakugo type, but also like a like hero killer Stain type. Like he had a very niche ideology and perspective of what he thought about heroes and what he thought about the prerequisites should be. And the entire exam, he wasn't trying to pass himself. He was keeping other people from doing so.
Yeah,
like he's
true.
such an interesting perspective. So to see him come back here and also give lore, like he had a father and that he's avenging who was like a guard at one of the prisons.
Guard. Okay, yeah, but is that father like a current? Like, was he a current prison guard that got killed with all the jailbreakers?
I don't know.
Like, I almost feel like, so what we are told in this episode is that Shiketsu moved without being told. I would wonder if it's because of being driven by such strong emotions, which is literally like one of the main themes of this episode that they're building up, is that everyone is having such strong emotions right now that the lights in their eyes are still ever present and have not been squashed.
Yeah.
And we have Inasa obviously having a strong emotion of why he would want to be here in regard to Endeavor and Todoroki. I'm sure Kami wants to be here because she's still mad about, you know, her presence within that exam, and the fact that Toga's here is really nice and really good. But then to have that idea of like your father was killed as a prison guard, Shiketsu moving on their own because they're like, why would you have us just sit over there and wait to be called? Like, people are dying.
All for One didn't take into account. Just another thing, because we get that about Shigaraki as well, but it's not that he didn't account for Shiketsu. It's that he didn't account that he thought that all of this despair piled upon itself would only desaturate the hope. But on the inverse, with somebody like Deku and the rest of the heroes going forward, all it's done is put people into the position that Deku was at the start of the series, where they can't control themselves and they can't stop themselves from moving before they can think it. Their body just moves. Shiketsu was here before the police called them to be. And
that's what makes
what a hero is.
Correct. Right, exactly. That's what I was literally thinking. Is like, that's what makes these people right to be heroes, is the fact that your body is moving before your brain can even register. That fear factor of feeling pain or overthinking is not present. You're able to just act when needed.
I hate seeing All for One, like, and his fucking, like, it's such a great inverse narratively of All Might's continuous smile, but it's just so disgusting to see it on All for One that I want everything to go wrong for him. At the end of season 3 of My Hero, there's an interaction between All Might and All for One in the jail cell that he's being held at, that he goes on this fucking rant about how his, his disciple is already walking on his own, and he doesn't even know where Shigaraki is because he's already left the nest. And you fucking idiot, dumbass piece of shit. Your
kid doesn't like you.
You have been fucking using him. He isn't.
And he knows that.
Yeah. God.
Like, that brings me to, like, we had some really great... I would say one of the other themes of this episode was, other than, like, emotions, it was internal thoughts and feelings, which is, like, I guess just, like, a more umbrella to the hopes and the emotions that are driving everyone. And we get some really nice moments of having that. Like, we get the business course students being like, we didn't get to show what needed to be shown to the public for them to support the heroes, and that's on us. And so we're gonna be here this time. And then they're like, oh, is my phone talking on its own? Does it have its own thoughts? And then we go to like, we have this internal dialogue from Shigaraki about how he didn't like what he was seeing of like how he was being used by All for One, and how he could tell, especially now looking back, that he was reached out to and raised purely for a purpose to be something for someone else. So therefore, without calling attention to himself, he slowly created this core in his heart where he protected himself, his true self, the core of it.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to read the line of like when he says to Deku, like, what will save him?
The destruction of everything connected to that house.
And then he's like, save me, hero. That's what'll save me, is everything related to that house being destroyed.
I love Shigaraki. Like, as a character, he is so fascinating. It was one of my first times ever seeing an antagonist in a show be portrayed from the start as like some character that has very fickle ideologies that if you poke at, it will easily fold into itself, and then watch that build up through, like, Shigaraki and Deku's arcs and growth happened simultaneously. And through Shigaraki's environment and atmosphere, it went a certain direction, but everything changed for me when one of the best episodes of the entire series, seeing his backstory and when everything actually broke for him and the cause of it. Everything connected to that house, and I'm so interested in where it's gonna go. Where do you take Shigaraki?
Well, at the moment, you're at least taking him to a place where, for 4 or 5 episodes now, we've been like, okay, how much control does All for One have over Shigaraki's current body? How much of a mix are they? Is it all for One? Then we're having Lemillion be like, okay, no, I think he's still in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, other characters are kind of agreeing with that. So we're like, okay, Shigaraki's still in there. It's not All for One. And then now it's almost like in this episode, we had this awesome shot of Shigaraki literally clawing out of All for One's mouth, which is like the sassiest imagery that I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
Because All for One is like all this talk, especially since when we first get introduced to him. For most of the series, he's stationary. He's calling the shots. He's having other people do things based on his beck and call. So, like, coming out of his mouth and basically breaking open his jaw and climbing out of it is amazing imagery for what is happening in this episode. But it also leaves me in a place of being like, I don't know what's gonna happen there, specifically with All for One's character, because things aren't looking like too great for him if Shigaraki in this episode is aware of how he feels about All for One, and also establishing to Deku, like, this is me right here. I am Shigaraki. These are the things that are important to me, and this is how you can save me.
It's like, God, it's so well plotted out, because everything, all the plans, all the different routes that All for One cultivated by himself is nothing and falling apart through Shigaraki, while everything that All Might and One for All has cultivated internally and through the message that All Might conveyed has resulted in Deku, and that aspiration resulting in his All for One's own plans, like Lady Nagant folding on himself. Having, like, Rocklock just casually show up in the hospital to vouch for Lady Nagant and give her his phone.
And his reasoning why is because he overhears that she says she wants to do it for Deku.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, if it's for him,
I get it.
Then you do it. You do it. If he is, all of our hopes are on that boy. So if you want to help that boy, go for it. Here's my phone.
What do you think about the after credit with... Okay, before we get there.
There's some other stuff.
Tokoyami is so cool. He has the best
I wasn't
names
even-
for any of his abilities.
I wasn't even thinking in my head that, like, it's getting darker, because I feel like we never really get to see Dark Shadow in, like, the prime, you know, unless we are trying to cultivate, like, oh, let's have him go over here so that we're able to do it in, like, an exam setting or something. And my brain, obviously,
Revelry in the dark.
overstimulation with everything that's happening on this battlefield. So as a viewer, I'm not like, oh, it's cloudy now. You know what that means? Like,
Yeah. Do you think in season 3 of My Hero, I originally watched the show in dub. It was before I started watching shows in sub. And Tokoyami had the line "Revelry in the dark," and I wonder if that's a one-for-one translation or what.
it's awesome
said.
line. I mean,
His names for all of his abilities are amazing. They're fantastic.
he's probably honestly, I think he was the best at naming. If I'm given, obviously it's the person that wrote the stories.
Light
they get
of
the full
Boulder.
credit. But what?
Light of Balder. That was what he said this episode. It's amazing.
Okay, well, Bakugo has a great naming ability, sure. I think Tokoyami has the best
Yeah.
naming. I think he gets the most credit. We get a little flash of the fact that he was even, like, he saw what was happening, had such a battlefield awareness that he had this creation of this shell happen for him in order to be in the dark. Oh, and then this awesome shot of them in bed, like cute little babies.
Oh my god.
It
It's
is
so
the most
fucking
darling
cute.
thing I've ever seen.
Don't you talk about darkness. God.
They're such babies.
It's amazing.
And there's like a little bat on the bed.
So cute. Okay, so Toga and her quirk.
Yeah.
I wonder what she feels about it. Like,
Well, she's not feeling too amazing right now.
yeah, but like it's so fascinating because you can be aware as she was that it wasn't working for certain people. But then what? You just like hope it changes? No, you can't force change emotions and how you genuinely feel about people.
It's because she didn't care about it before. She liked that she was able to use the people that she loved because she was purely wanting to get closer to that was her goal before the last couple episodes, when we literally get the line from a narrator being like, this is the moment she becomes a villain.
I'm not trying to insult Kami because I don't know enough about her game, but what did she do to make Toga fall head over heels for her? I got to see Uraraka. I've seen Deku. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But her transferring
Honestly,
into Kami.
honestly, like, now I'm really curious about that. Like,
what that interaction looked like.
Especially because in this this outro, Toga brings up the fact that, like, she feels like she loves Dabi and Shigaraki. She does, but she doesn't like them enough.
Do you think that it's like more about the evolution? Like maybe that prerequisite didn't necessarily exist when it came to Kami, but now with the duplication of being able to utilize the quirks of the people that you are, acting as and looking like, it also comes with that prerequisite. Like, yeah, you can look like anybody you take blood from, but you can only use the quirk for people that you like.
Or is there something with the compatibility? Like, is this her current understanding of it? But, like, what Sue brings up is, like, what exactly is the prerequisite? What are the circumstances? Like,
Yeah.
Is there something to do with compatibility? Like, could it really be that certain quirks or certain emotions tied to things or certain personalities of a holder of a quirk? If we remember, like, Star and Stripe, like, her personality basically came with her quirk within the body, and then destroyed all of the quirks that were inside Shigaraki at the time. So what if there's also something to do with, like, your compatibility, like, on a personality level with the person?
Yeah,
like, would you
interesting.
get along? I mean, obviously she gets along with Dabi to a certain extent and Shigaraki, but we are painted very clearly that she has the best relationship with Jin out of the group before he dies. And then honestly, one of the most heartbreaking lines at the very end with her is she says at some point, Jin could have done it. And then she says, why can't I become him?
Yeah.
She's within his form right now. She's using Sad Man's Parade, but it's heart-wrenching because all she has ever wanted was to be able to be the people that she loves. And she is confronted right now with like this heartbreak of she's trying to be this person that she loves and idolizes that has passed away, and she can't feel him. She can't, it's almost like a hope that she could have reached him by doing this, and she can't.
I'm trying to think like narratively where you go with Uraraka and Toga, because for a while I was like, I feel wrongly focused on the romantic side of like Uraraka and Deku. Obviously, like we get Uraraka speaking on it, so it's going to be in my mind. But again, dude, so much happened in season 3 of My Hero Academia. In season 3 of My Hero, during the exam that we meet, Shiketsu, Uraraka has the line of dialogue like, no, I'm not going to confess or say anything to Deku right now. I'm going to focus on myself and try to do what he's doing, and it really paved a way of individuality for Uraraka. And I wonder that if like that would be the connection to try to make to Toga, like, no, you don't have to become anybody else. You don't have to like focus on that. You can love yourself type beat.
Right. What that would take me to in my mind is just the fear of, we have obviously the idea that's been given to us that like, unfortunately you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
And we also, like I had said a couple minutes ago, that line of narration about like Toga has now like, this is like a real push into like complete villain territory. Like the mind, I don't want to talk about romance anymore with you. What is saving Toga now? That's a question that's like in my head now is, but then I think before the ending kind of credit scene with her, I would have been like, shoot, is she in the same kind of category as Dabi and Shigaraki now, where it's kind of like you're gonna have to kill them to save them? But then we see her still in this such emotional state of trying to work through her emotions and feelings and questioning things that it almost feels like she still is so reachable in terms of like communication.
Internally, maybe due to the environment, I'd put her in the same category as Dabi and Shigaraki. And that, like, it sucks, but that's where I think that she's going to end up having, like, or dying in the series.
Yeah. Well, in terms of circumstances in the battle, it is not the best, but it is also not the worst.
Yeah.
So going into the next episode, I guess that's what I will be expecting, is that things are not the best, but there's room for hope because they're also not the worst.
So fucked if Toga was able to use Shigaraki's abilities. There wouldn't be a chance.
When I saw the like little floating Shigaraki, I was like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah.
Because it said a few minutes earlier, and I'm like, but that didn't happen.
That means she kept trying up until this point, Like, that's how desperate she was. Or that's how much she wanted to be able to like them in the same regard as Jean.
And then my last thing is, where did Eraserhead and Present Mike go?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Thank you.
You know what my my dream headcanon is?
What?
They are currently going to All For One. They erase All For One's quirks, and then All Might shows up and gets to do a bare knuckle fist fight without quirks with All For One, and then beats him. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. No, I'm now expecting that. Also, compliments to La Brava for being the best girlfriend ever.
Yep.
I mean, come on. Like, not only, like, they're like, hey, you were supposed to hack into this. And she's like, no, I already did that. I'm on my second plan now. And that's to broadcast her love's heroism and amazing acts
I
to
love
the
how
entire world live.
Gentle also like prefaces the weakness that he's experiencing as this is not due to the lack of love from La Brava. It's my own amazing. All right, you good?
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.